36 results, and did I really lose 16.5 pounds in a week? Hi, Kerry here, and this is my Mounjaro journey. If you really want to find out, did I lose 16.5 pounds in a week, check the timestamps below and you can jump there and actually see. But I'm going to go through my usual format. So this week, like any week, obviously been very, very busy. Now, I am the main carer for my learning disabled brother, and he's had a very busy but important week for him. He loves to do drama. He enjoys acting. He's been with really good drama groups for people like himself with learning disabilities. He's been to the Edinburgh Fringe. He's been to a festival in Sweden. He's been to the Brighton Festival. He's done a lot of really good plays and that. But as he gets older, his memory is suffering and he finds it a lot more difficult to do the plays because he can't read and write, so you have to train him to do his lines. His voice is very clear and things like that, so he usually gets chosen to do all the recordings and things, but it's a lot of hard work. So he got the opportunity to do 2 plays with Sheffield Theatres Company, where they acted in the Crucible Theatre, or the Playhouse that's just off Crucible Theatre, and that was on Thursday as part of their Launchpad Festival. So we've been busy getting him ready, taking him, making sure he's got all the right clothes, making sure that he looks nice and neat, presentable, that he's, which he normally does anyway, and he looks after himself, but just generally doing all of that, and then also dealing with lots of things to do with his property that's being renovated for him, and dealing with workmen for my property that's not going to be starting for a while, because there's lots of things like a lot of people can't start until really September or October time, because obviously school holidays are coming up and their parents and they want to go on holiday. Or like one person I spoke to, he's busier in the school holidays because he does a lot of jobs at the schools. In fact, when I spoke to him on the phone, I could barely hear him because he was in a schoolyard pricing up a job. So that's been really busy. And it's also been one of the things I worried about this week, because I had side effects this week. Some weeks I get no side effects, nothing, nada, just have a really good week. But this week I've had side effects, and the side effects that I've had was sulfur burps and really high suppression. And I'm going to say suppression is a side effect because you still need to eat something, but if you're struggling to eat, it can be a worry. Now, the sulfur burps, when I have had them in the past, it's usually late at night when I'm on my way to bed. So I'm not really bothered about it. It's affecting me rather than anybody else. But this started in the morning, and I'd got meetings all lined up with the architect, project manager, the plumber and the electrician. So I don't want to be giving off these really horrible belches with sulfur. Disgusting. So fortunately I've got peppermint oil capsules at home, so I took them straight away with my breakfast in the hope that when I belched, because I don't normally belch it as well, I've got that. And I was also finding it very, very difficult to eat. I struggled to eat my breakfast. And when I picked up some lunch for us, I got some sandwiches from my mum and my brother, and I got myself a little salad box. I couldn't finish the salad box, and it wasn't that big. When I went out for a meal at night, a carvery, I usually have a small carvery. I couldn't finish that. I was just, full with sulfur burps. Fortunately, when you take the peppermint oil, it sort of calms your stomach and you feel like you're leaving a cloud of that peppery smell rather than that sulfur smell. And I tried with a lot of the meetings to have them outside. It was a bit difficult with the electrician and the plumber because I needed to show them different things. Although the plumber, some of the stuff was outside, but the architect we took the meeting up onto the roof, which I'm afraid of heights, and I had to climb the scaffolding to get up to these roofs. But I thought, rather than that and let it waft away, because there was a bit of a breeze. It wasn't like Friday where there was no breeze whatsoever. So, with my brother being absolutely very busy this week, I have had a non-scale victory, and that has been I can squat down. Now, one of the things my brother can't do really well for himself is cut his own toenails, so I've always done that, but I've always found it difficult. It was like before I started going to the gym and lost that bit of weight, I used to struggle to cut my own toenails. The bending down, your stomach's in the way, everything is in the way, and you just feel trying to cut your own toenails. But once I started going to the gym, once I started losing weight, that became one of the first non-scale victories. Bending down to be able to cut your own toenails. But I couldn't never squat, and I always found squatting down to cut his toenails very difficult, and it would take a long time because I have to keep getting up to give myself a break. So, and then back down. This time, squatted straight down, just went down. I always thought it was a mobility issue, rather a stiff issue, rather than, yes, it's weight and it's exercise. Who knew? Anyway, so I squatted straight down, cut his toenails very quickly. He was like, "Have you really done?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm really finished. Here's your toenails." Well, not here's your toenails, but done. Major non-scale victory. There's some really weird non-scale victories, but these are the benefits. They strange to people that are not that have never suffered from huge weight gains or being obese. People don't understand it, that these are, wow, I can cut my own toenails. I can cut my family's toenails. I can get into my car and have a space between me and the steering wheel. That's a short person's problem who is overweight. You're like there and your stomach's touching the steering wheel, and you've got to have it near because you can't see over the bonnet if you don't have it near and raised up. But now I can get in and out of the car without touching the steering wheel, without it being stuck, without it feeling heavy, even though it's a power steering. So always celebrate these non-scale victories. The weirder, the better. They just don't just stick on your numbers. Stick on those great things that we can suddenly do that we either couldn't do or we found extremely difficult. So I'm moving on to, you may have found that there is new rules coming in when you are getting your new pens or anything. So I am going to be staying on the 5 milligram pen, so I needed to order it. And new rules with my prescriber came in that you had to have your weight verified. So it was just a quick online phone call sort of thing where you log in and you go on at this certain time and you have to have your ID and you have to have your weight shown. So you have to actually physically step onto a pair of scales and show your weight so they can actually see. And they've also introduced a height verification, but I didn't have that when I did my weight verification because they hadn't introduced that yet, but they have introduced it. So they're asking people to have a pair of scales, their ID, and if they've got a tape measure. If you haven't got a tape measure, they have said that they want you to stand in a doorway because an average doorway in the UK is 6 foot 6 inches. So they can see that, that you are saying that you are that weight. And I think it's a good thing. I think these have needed to be in because there has been a number of people that have lied about their weight in order to get these medications. And when you watch any programs or anything, or listen to any doctors that are involved with prescribing Mounjaro or involved with people that's had to go to hospital with taking injections like Mounjaro, Ozempic and that, they have said that majority of those people are people that shouldn't be taking it anyway, either because they are too thin or because of the medication that they are on and would have been denied by a proper prescriber. So I'll leave a link down in the description and in the comment to a Channel 4 YouTube, a Channel 4 program where they were talking about people getting hold of it on Facebook Marketplace and getting hold of the wrong dosage, shouldn't be taking it in the first place, either medication too thin, whatever. But I'll leave that link there so that you can see the reasoning behind why they need to bring in these weight verifications, and that'll probably increase our prices because the prescription companies are going to have to hire more people to carry out these weight verifications, ID and height verifications. So that's a new thing. So let's jump on to my weight. Did I really lose 16.5 pounds? And the simple answer is no, I didn't lose 16.5 pounds. But why have I said it? Because Shotzi's app, and I'm going to show it you. Just press record. Right. On the Shotzi's app, where it says Jab 36, that's my week 36 results, you'll see it says total change, 16.5 pounds. It's saying that I am 9 stone 6.1. Now that's the weight I want to be. That's my ideal BMI weight. In fact, that is my end target. I want to be that with my clothes on, not how I normally weigh, which is in the noddy. Early first thing, I want to be able to weigh that at 9 stone 6. Now, the reason it's took that is because I use an app called AFit, because I have a pair of Bluetooth scales, but they're not Renfo or anything like that. And this gives you all sorts of information. But last week, I used it to weigh my mum, and I actually created her a profile. I've deleted it since because I was hoping that it would fix the Shotzi app of losing 16.5 pounds in a week. It hasn't, because what happens with this AFit, it takes my measurements and then it syncs with Apple, because that's the phone I'm using, Apple Health, which then syncs with MyFitnessPal, which is what I use because that's what my gym uses. And then it used to go to the fitness app for my gym, and then also go to the Shotzi's app. And both my fitness pal and my gym app, I still have access to that even though I stopped the gym, did the correct one, but not Shotzi. And I've gone in and I've tried to change it here. It lets you tap on there and it lets you go like this, put it in, but it doesn't stay. So I know I weigh 10 stone 9. It actually means I've put on a bit of weight, but I'll explain. But it hasn't changed it there. If I close it off and then go back into the Shotzi app, you'll see it's gone back. It's gone there, but it hasn't gone there. So, and it's still, So I thought, well, I need to figure out how to do this. So what you need to do is, if you're on an Apple and you're using the AFit app, go to where it says browse, and then go to body measurements, and then go on to weight, scroll down until you get to show all data. Then you will see that somewhere along there should be a measurement that isn't right, and there is one. It's 59.9. So I'm going to go on there. In fact, if I swipe that 59.9, tap delete, I can close that. Go back to Shotzi. Let's see if it's changed there, and it's changed that one. I'm going to close that and then again reopen it, Let's see. Yes, it's right. So you'll see that if I go to see all, it's actually giving me the right thing, where I've actually gained 0.2 pounds, which is absolutely nothing. But I am seeming to be more of a maintenance where I lose a bit, then I gain a bit, then I go to stay the same, lose a bit, gain a bit, stay the same. I've sort of got that sort of pattern. But I've still got a new pen of 5 milligram. So I've been on 5 milligram since November. So I'm going to see how this month goes, whether I can lose a bit more. And I know that if you go up doses, it doesn't necessarily go on your weight loss. It's more, it stops that food noise and it helps you make better choices because it stopped that food noise that I must have. And that's what's helping. And it also gives you a bit of suppression. So I don't know. If I did go up on the 7.5, would I do as some other people do where they only do half and half? And there are prescribers out there that recommend that. So I don't know. I'm going to see what this week's like. So the actual figures are, when I first started this weight journey, I was 100 kilograms or 15 stone, 10.4 pounds or 220 pounds. And last week I was 67.5 kilograms or 10 stone, 8.8 pounds or 148.5 pounds. And then this week I'm weighing 67.6, which is a gain of 100 grams, or 10 stone, 9 pound again, which is a gain of 0.2 pounds, or 149 pounds, which again is a gain of 0.2. Now, is that because I've eaten out 4 times and had an ice cream? No, probably not. It's probably water weight. I've been drinking a lot more because it's hot. When it's hot, you sort of bloat anyway. So I'm thinking it might just be that, and probably tomorrow, when it rains and cools down, that weight may come off. As long as it's going in the general direction of me going down. Like in June, I lost 2 pounds overall, and some people might say, well, that's not a lot, but it is half a pound off every week, and it's 2 pounds that is off and has remained off, and it's going in the right direction. So I don't need those big massive losses, and I certainly didn't need a 16.5 pound loss. I do actually need 16.5 pounds off. That would be great, but not in a week, because that's pretty, I know when you first start, some people can lose a stone in a week. In fact, I've known myself put a stone on in a week, and yes, that has been proven by a doctor. So, and that's how I got diagnosed with celiac disease. That was one of the reasons, because I kept putting weight on. So the doctor took my weight on the Friday. In fact, it was less than a week, it was a weekend. Took my weight on the Friday, and then I went back on the Monday at the same time and got weighed on the Monday, and I put exactly a stone on. So he knew that was something seriously wrong. And that was when I was with Slimming World, and I'm always thankful to Slimming World for that they helped get me diagnosed with celiac disease. We need to celebrate. We need to celebrate everything about this journey, that we've got something that helps us get to a healthy weight, that makes us be able to do things not only for ourselves but also for our family. And Jo from Jo's Sleep and Slim Down Journey, she celebrates everything. She celebrates everybody else's channels and all sorts of things. And we need to be more like Jo. We need to celebrate every part of this journey. So I'll leave a link in the description if you haven't already found Jo's channel. And I'm sure you will have done. It is fantastic to go and watch her celebrate everything. So if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want and you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, it just helps us on the channel. For us? Who's us? I'm not a multiple person. It helps me with my channel growth. So I hope you have a wonderful week and that you have wonderful losses or maintains or even gains, but at least celebrate something from this journey. Have a great week, and I'll see you next week.